Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss any video from my channel.
To be an artist, a man wants to be an athlete, he'd just like to carry that ball one time. So that's what I mean when there's a Rocky in each of us, but it's a fictional character. It's more of a state of mind than an actual, based on an actual character. The form of studying the styles. I went all the way back to Stanley Ketchel fighting Jack Johnson, fight sequences. You know, at least all those men that had paid the price for many, many years, I condensed it in that. So I knew that was the formula. Then I had to choreograph it, so there was a rhythm there. It just wasn't random slaughter, where it was a kind of a ballet and movement, and it finally built to a crescendo. It wasn't just haphazard punching.
I noticed that, well, the movie opens with a fight, right? And you're obviously not less equipped physically, but less equipped as a talented fighter,
right,
in that particular opening than you are. You know,
I am touching his skin. I'm pulling him as soon as I make contact with his flesh, because several times in the fight we did get a little carried away when we heard the fight crowd, and Carl would come out and he actually thought he was a champion. He would tap me a few times in the forehead, and those gloves were special gloves. They were sent from Mexico. They're illegal in this country. They're called Casanovas, so they're very, very hard gloves. It's like being hit with a cinder block. So when he hits me a few times, I say, Carl, please, you understand? I wrote you into this movie. You are my imagination. You understand? You are a character from my mind. I'm getting beaten by my own dreams. I don't understand this. So he did it again. So on the ropes, if in the second round, when I start coming back on him, that was an actual altercation when they separate us and we're yelling. He's going to get that gorilla back to his corner and all that. That we got a little carried away, but that's bound to happen. Out of the actual damage, I think Carl broke his thumb, I broke my ribs, I had a cracked sternum, and Carl had water on both knees and laceration.
just a simple little movie.
Yeah, right, in his spine, and a U-turn in his back, and things like that, and I have permanent whiplash. But I'll tell you, it was worth it.
Maybe Bing Crosby will sell You Going My Way, and you, can, you know, just as a sequel to this thing.
Carried away, I should have did.
No, it's a fantastic film. And as you said, there's a Rocky in all of us, and it comes out.
Everything was glamorous. This is not so glamorous at times.
No, it's not at all.
But
Just an encapsulation of some of the events or activities in the film.
okay.
We'll give you an idea.
This position, if it hadn't been for physical fitness training all the time, it's something that I've done since I was about 13 years old. There's a line in the movie that Rocky says, well, my father told me I wasn't born with much of a brain, so I better develop my body. Well, that kind of happened to me at around 13, so I took it to heart. And it wasn't until I was 27 years old that I realized I did have a brain. I thought it was just a hollow drum up there. And so in the meantime, I just lifted weights, but it paid off, and it's become a habit, and I've learned discipline from that. And from that discipline, I think that's what got me through the writing and all that. That every day, that mundane chore, very boring, very lonely.
Was the writing hard?
Well, it's the rewriting that is hard.
And you're the screenwriter. Did you find
Very flexible. I take advice and criticism from anybody. A bus driver will come over and say, I don't like the way that's been, and I'll listen to it because I think that's very valid, and you have to be flexible because you can only put so outside input. So I was very, very open to anyone's suggestion. For Burt Young and Talia Shire and Burgess Meredith, I saw their speech patterns, the way they move. So I would write the character and the dialogue to suit them. For example, Burt Young's, the way he speaks, he juxtapositions. He'll say, instead of saying, I want you to come over to my house tonight, he'll say, over my house tonight, I want you to come. So I had to rearrange sentences to go along with that. So instead of him coming to me, I wanted to go to him. And I think that is somewhat reflected in their characters.
now? What about Rocky's voice? How did you develop Rocky?
Well, you just take about 6 or 7 pounds of garbage and you stick it right there in your throat and shove it down with a stick. No, it's a very flat delivery, and I'm trying to think of what a husky.
When Rocky finally walks over to the bed and tells Talia that
But you know you've given the best, and unfortunately you just don't have the equipment to overpower your foe. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Rocky, when he went to the arena and realized he can't win, He can't win. Why is he kidding himself? I thought it was very sad because I would interview many fighters, and it seems like a fighter has never lost. A man can have a record of 1 win and 400 losses, but he's never lost.
That's right.
It was the weather, he had a toothache, his hair was messed up, sun got in his eyes. Every excuse.
You met a lot of golfers in your day.
Right? I say, admit it. You lost, and then you can start rebuilding. As long as you live this illusion, this false reality, that's when it becomes crippling, and you eat it. You eat inside. You become crazy. So Rocky that night goes. He looks over the situation. And he comes back to his girlfriend, I can't win, but I don't care. If I can stand up, that's good enough. And that to me is very important. I feel that anyone, whatever their chosen profession, if they can at least have the opportunity to try. If they fail, all right, but at least give them the opportunity. That's all.
When, or did you at all,
And I wasn't sure about the director, how much he was going to be involved in this. And I walked out, and there I saw him laying in the gutter with a camera, and with the wind and the rats and everything blowing over him. I knew that we had total dedication. I knew I could hold up my part, and now I knew he could hold up his, and I thought we were going to, and I knew then.
the running scenes? You know, I just knew as a runner, this guy really runs. What about the side of the, were you actually hitting that stuff?
Oh yeah. Again, when you're doing a film that
Pull it.
well, none of that I couldn't pull. So they would tape my hands until they were like cement. But after about 14 hours, the cold gets into the joints, and when they cut the taping off, my hands sprung out like 5 bananas connected with styrofoam. I mean, it's like, wow, right? Now what do I do with these? I can't get them in my pockets. I don't know what to do with them. But the beef represented, I feel like he was going to the body. That was his whole battle plan, to go to the ribs. And I thought, what an imagery. Here is this hanging beef practicing on the ribs. So when the fight does occur, we have a happen. It would be an amazing end to an Odyssey if it did. I just don't think. I don't think that people can readily accept that much of a change, that much of a out of nowhere. Who is this person? And then all of a sudden bestow an award on them. I think it kind of frightens people at times. What is this?